Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome back, everybody, to Woke with Wadu. Today, we are going to react to the Raja Jackson and Syko Stu situation. I'm sure everybody has heard about this by now. Raja Jackson is a new streamer, I believe. He is the son of former UFC champion Rampage Jackson. And he went to not WWE, but a wrestling event to support his buddy, just be there, not supposed to be involved, I don't even think. And then things just went bad. A worker there, a wrestler there, thought he was a worker, or maybe he was supposed to do something. He hit him with a soda can, and Raja Jackson did not sell it. He's not somebody in the business. He just took that as a actual act of aggression, as if he was just attacked in real life, and things just went sour from there. So there have been a lot of takes on this issue, on this situation, a lot of bad takes as well, with some people like defending Raja's action, some people blaming Rampage Jackson, things like that. We'll get into all of that. So I just wanted to give my view out there because there's a lot of just bad views, bad takes on this. One guy who has a pretty, I would say actually say very good view on this is Sean Jones, and he just made a video on it. So we'll react to his video about the whole situation because he gives us the full breakdown of the incident before what happened, after what happened, etc. And we'll react to it fully. He'll give all the full details here, so let's just get right into it with Sean Jones's video.
We've got some crazy news right now. My inbox has been flooded with messages asking me to react to this situation. Rampage Jackson's son almost killed a guy live on stream, and we're going to break down the full story of the events that transpired on this day and give the full context. So anyone who's not familiar, Rampage Jackson, former UFC fighter, him and his son have been live streaming recently on the streaming platform Kick, and Kick is a little bit loose with their rules and regulations, so you can get away with a lot of stuff on Kick that you can't on Twitch. That being said, Raja Jackson, Rampage Jackson's son, crossed the line here, and even if you was a little bit on the side of Raja Jackson in this situation, when you see the full context of this situation, you're going to be surprised. So Raja was invited to a wrestling event by his friend, so he's really just there to support his friend and to do a Kick stream. So Raja goes outside to meet some of the other wrestlers, and a wrestler comes up behind Raja looking a little bit confrontational. So Raja doesn't really pay any attention to this wrestler guy, and then this wrestler, who goes by the name of Syko Stu, I think, starts talking directly to Raja.
Where's the real McKill at? Where's he at?
You don't need to worry about him. You need to be worried about Psycho Stu.
Syko Stu?
And then things escalate fast.
What, you don't know me?
Hell no. Yeah.
Hey, hey, I think that's a little.
Oh, you sell it?
Right, so Syko Stu kind of crossed the line there. However, context is important here, which we'll get to in a moment. Now, the reason why this isn't a good look for Syko Stu is because a few days prior to Raja doing this stream, he was sparring and he got caught with a spinning head kick, a 540 or tornado kick to be specific.
Like that. Yeah, that's what you gotta do. Let the kick land and count. What? What happened?
First off, whoever that lad was who threw that spinning head kick, terrible sparring etiquette, mate. He pretty much threw it full force. If you're throwing a head kick of any type in sparring, you need to pull them kicks a little bit, especially if it's a spinning head kick.
Just to pause here, I wouldn't use the words "not a good look" for Syko Stu when he goes into the history of what just happened with Raja Jackson and him being concussed at this time. It's not really the right words, I would say. And again, like, I don't think he meant it that way, but not the right look is not the right wording because it's not Syko Stu's job to know what's happened in Raja Jackson's life on a day in, day out basis, or any moment in time. Everybody's living their life. That's just the way the world works. Really, the reality of it is that the fact that Raja is concussed kind of plays a factor, maybe, into this situation. Because it could say that Raja Jackson is not fully there in his mind 100% to make the right decisions, perhaps.
The time if I'm sparring, if I throw a spinning head kick, I will 99% of the time throw it without any intention of landing. I'll throw it just to show it. It's just to show, hey, look, I can do a spinning kick here. I could have got you. I didn't. But there we go. We keep on moving forward. This guy just threw a spinning tornado 540 kick with quite a bit of power, and you can see Raja stumble all over the place. So he was actually pretty concussed after this head kick. And here's a clip of him talking about that concussion.
How does my head?
And Sean is 100% on point there. If you're going to be sparring, first of all, every legitimate fighter, and when I say that, I mean every high level, and I'm not talking about just people who make it into the UFC or people who even just become champs, but if you listen to the people who are legends of the sport, the best of the best will tell you you shouldn't be sparring hard, and you should really use sparring essentially to just get into the feel for things and anticipate movements and things of that sort, anticipate punches and kicks and elbows, etc. This, especially at this time, like if we go back in this video, look at the sparring of the guys
Quite a bit of
behind
power,
them.
and
Look
you
how
can
slow
see
they are.
Raja stumble all over the place. So he was
Look how
actually
slow
pretty
they are.
concussed after this head kick.
That guy just made a head kick in almost live motion, with a lot of power behind it. That is not a good sparring partner. That is not how you spar. That guy should not even be in the gym because he is a menace to everybody else there. That's not the type of members that you want at your gym. And it again starts probably, to be in all fairness to Raja, probably starts from here. Raja Jackson clearly gets concussed
And here's a
there,
clip of him
and he
talking
talks
about
here
that
about
concussion.
How does
what
my
has
head feel?
been happening to him.
I'm still fucked up. I'm not even gonna lie. It's part of the reason why I didn't stream earlier. I was supposed to stream. Going to fucking paintball balling with AJ, but my head was fucked up. I was throwing up and shit. Yeah, I'm fucked up right now, guys. Nah, it's all good, man. Yeah, I know I need a fucking rest, but I'm gonna take a break from it for a while. But my lifting coach and shit, one of my teammates, Andre, who was on the stream the last time, is having a pro wrestling show, and I told him I will come and support, and then I wanted to bring you guys with me. You know what I'm saying? Get an MRI. I'm gonna go definitely get checked out on Monday though. Yeah, I was throwing up. Yeah, my head still feels like funny. I'm not even gonna cap.
So he's clearly suffering from a concussion. Right, so I want you to pay close attention to what Syko Stu.
So again, clearly he's suffering from a concussion. He's there. Is he 100% there? Is some parts of his brain where the decision-making areas, decision-making capabilities hampered? You know, we don't know. But to be in all fairness, if somebody's concussed, I would not say that person is 100% normal, right? You're obviously not. That's the point of a concussion. You're not 100% yourself. So there's something playing a factor right away just from this. And now Syko Stu makes a very poor decision. And again, it's just poor decisions leading on to poor decisions here. Literally from the guy throwing that head kick, poor decision, to now Syko Stu just decides to take somebody coming into the event. You don't know if the guy's a worker or not. You have no idea who this guy is. Why would you just smash a can on his head? That's not that is not what you should do as a normal wrestler. Nobody would just go ahead and do something. If you look at the WWE, if you look at the things and how they do things there, look at the Netflix series that came out, everything is thought out very well ahead of time. The wrestlers talk to each other about what they're going to do. Even if they're not going to practice the moves per se with each other, they talk about what's going to get done. That's how it's supposed to be. You don't just go smash a can on somebody. You don't ever even talk to the guy beforehand. Nothing. The guy doesn't know you at all. This is the first time he's met you in his life, and you just smash a can on his head. You think he's just going to understand it because he came into a wrestling event and you're a wrestler? That's not how that works. Definitely not how that works. Even if he was a wrestler, that's still not how that should be working. So, horrible decision by Syko Stu here. And I think in looking at Syko Stu, he's not all there. He could be under the impression, he could be seemingly having some drinks, etc., in the way he carries himself.
Says to Raja after he smacked the can over Raja's head. Listen carefully.
He's not a fucking worker, bro. Calm down.
Yeah, what the f was that?
You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good.
What was that?
You don't sell it? Still, he's not a worker, bro.
What the f was that? Hold on. I don't play that.
Oh, sorry.
No, I will.
No, we're good.
I know you will. We're good. I will f him up, bro. I don't play that.
Sorry.
So you heard Syko Stu say, are you going to sell it? So I think Syko Stu thought that Raja was a part of the promotion or one of the workers there. And you can see in Syko Stu's reaction.
So you look at it, Syko Stu does not look like he's 100% there either. He looks like he's under the influence. And him just saying, are you going to sell it, when the guy's clearly and pissed off and ready to fight, etc. That's not how a normal person would react. So, something clearly off there.
That he was a little bit taken back by Raja's reaction. Now, Raja's friend who we came to see, AJ, his name is, actually says to Syko Stu, he's not one of the workers, you better apologise.
He good. Apologize for that. Let me fix that. You hear me?
Yeah.
Crazy. Sawadikam. Good, Deuce.
Nah, f that, dude.
Oh, so yeah, still poquito. Come on in, pieza. He always think that we're working over here like it's part of the storyline.
Just hit one off.
AJ said about Syko Stu, he always thinks we're working over here. He thinks everyone is a part of the storyline. Syko Stu seen Raja with the camera and probably thought, oh yeah, he's a part of this promotion. And now that Syko Stu knows that Raja isn't a part of this wrestling promotion, he tries to shake hands with Raja.
Kalia Rampage. And so we
No, bro.
No, yeah, Stu, this one. This is all.
So I'm struggling to find the full stream of this because Raja's
That is not how you apologize, guys. You don't just put your hand out first and then just say, I'm sorry. There has to be an explanation. There has to be more to it than just that. You don't do something to somebody and then just put your hand out and say, I'm sorry. It's not how an apology goes.
kick account as being banned and terminated, so it's very difficult to find the full unedited footage with the audio. But apparently after Raja turned down the handshake of Syko Stu a couple times, someone said to Raja, look, you can get in the ring and settle it there. And it's only after Raja is told this that he then accepts Syko Stu's apology.
I didn't know. I just thought you were at work first. Don't see my wheel. Hey, he's holding the camera.
I get it. We're not working out. Well, he gonna come out on your mat, Juice. I know you keep thinking we're working. We're always working. I get it. Yeah, I get it now. Now you know what I'm saying? We're always working. So we'll set it up. I'll have him come out during your mat so we could seal the whole thing and it will make something out of it. You know what I'm saying? All right.
So here, this guy finally, maybe he wasn't under the influence, or he was just acting the whole time because he thought the camera was there for the show and not as a live stream or whatever. Who knows? But again, just not a great decision, or not a good decision at all by Syko Stu there. Just made a lot of assumptions on his end. Nonetheless, now he clearly apologized. He explained his side. He thought he was a worker, etc. He thought it was part of the story. You know, the camera was there to capture the event itself. He wasn't a streamer, etc. It was part of the promotion. So he gave a clear, full understanding of his end, and he apologized as well that he shouldn't have done that. This is where the story should end, because Raja here can take one of two options. Right, up to this point, we have a horrible head kick decision by that guy, and then Syko Stu hitting Raja over the head. But here is an opportunity for the story to end, for this whole situation to stop, because an apology has been given. They're right face to face in front of each other. Raja Jackson can do one of two things. He can A, accept the apology, and that's it. Once you accept the apology, that's it. The event is over. There's nothing else to do thereafter. That's the point of accepting an apology. You don't accept an apology and then do something in retribution. That doesn't make any sense. So that's option A, is accepting the apology and ending the situation. Option B is not accepting the apology and fighting here, right now. That's your alternate option. Because what else can you do? Are you going to say, I'm not going to, or okay, I guess you could just say option C, I'm not going to accept your apology. I don't like you. Stay away from me. Like, that's pretty much it. Right? Pretty much it. And with that, you can give him his quote unquote get back, his receipt, as they call it in the wrestling business, during the event, if, as they're saying right now, you're going to be in there with him. But that receipt has limitations. It's not, anything goes. So those are the options. What does Raja do? He does none of them. He doesn't say, I accept your apology and it ends it. He doesn't say, I don't accept your apology and fights him. And he doesn't say, I don't accept your apology, I'm going to get you in the ring for it. He says something which is a very cowardly thing, which is, I accept your apology so that Syko Stu thinks it's over, but then Raja wants to get his get back in the ring, and Raja, for some reason, has no understanding of what a get back is, what a receipt is in the wrestling business. And they pretty much attempts to slaughter the guy, literally kill the guy. It's not just fighting the guy to knock him out, it's literally trying to kill the man. So this is where the issue is. This is, again, there's things leading up, but here there's something, a big event here, because here things could have ended. Raja had it in his hands and his ability to end it. Instead, he chose a very cowardly thing, which was to say, I accept your apology, face to face with Syko Stu, while in the meantime not accepting the apology internally and waiting for the moment to attack Syko Stu. And there's a lot of takes out there. There's a lot of people who are saying, yeah, accept the apology, but accepting the apology doesn't mean it's over. What? Are you stupid? What world do you live in? What does accepting an apology mean to you? What does accepting an apology mean in the world that you live in? Are you an idiot? That's the whole point of apologizing, and that's the whole point of accepting an apology. It's to literally end the issue, end the whatever it is that you guys have, or that rift in between you guys. If you accept it, it's over. That is the point of accepting an apology. It literally makes no sense, and that was the worst take that I've seen comments. I've seen some people make that take. That is the worst take I've ever heard on this matter. We're saying you can accept the apology, but don't think that accepting the apology means it's over. No, that's exactly what accepting the apology means. It's exactly what it means, that it is over. So let's continue here, because again, big moment here. Raja could have ended it, and then he chose the worst path forward. Fully cowardly. Because the only other path is, if Raja was heated, if Raja didn't want to accept it, something that's still manly is to say, let's fight. I don't like what you did to me. I don't accept your apology. And fighting him right now, right there. That's something that at least wouldn't be cowardly. People like myself and others would say you went overboard. You didn't need to take it there. The guy apologized, etc. But at least you were face to face with him and it was in a manly manner. Instead, he didn't do that. He went in a very cowardly manner. So let's continue the video.
Well, now you just involved Rampage himself, because that's his boy. No, he can handle it. Yeah, I can handle myself. Rampage gonna come whoop your ass. You don't need his dad. He handles his own. Yeah, I got my own.
But you can tell by Raja's face that he's still really pissed off. He's not happy about the situation at all, but in his mind he's thinking, I'll get me payback. You just wait. Right, so Raja's friend, AJ, takes Raja inside and he basically tells him what to do in the ring against Syko Stu. but he leaves a lot of it open to Raja's interpretation. Listen closely.
I wasn't swing.
No. What he thought was he was a pro.
I understand.
Yeah, another thing is, even when we are working like that, you don't. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he don't. He's a idiot. Hey. So when you run in on his, you can give him his receipt. Remember what a receipt is. Give him that receipt. Go tag his. If you got a problem with it, I'll run out there. Tag.
And now this is again like things aren't over, and AJ here, whatever his name is, he's sort of antagonizing. Sort of. I say sort of because he explains that what Syko Stu did wasn't right. Even for workers, it's not how you should be handling yourself. Like I said, you don't just do that randomly, even to workers. You have to talk about it beforehand. This is a guy you've never met. It's not even like a worker that you know. It's not like somebody you work with on a weekly basis or whatever, monthly basis, any type of basis. Raja Jackson and Syko Stu never met before. And Syko Stu's point of view, you don't just go smash a can on another worker you've never met before. Even in the business, if Raja was a worker, that is still wrong. So that's what AJ's saying here, which is correct. So he's not really antagonizing, but it is antagonizing a little bit because he's still talking about the situation. He's still he's telling now Raja to get his receipt. The guy and didn't Raja just say he accepts the apology? Why are we still talking about the issue? Why are we still talking about getting retribution, etc.? In the business, go get your receipt. Go get your receipt. So there's a little bit of antagonization there because there was an apology and there was an acceptance. It should be, that's it, over. But instead, they're still talking about it. And now, instead of just talking about it, instead of just saying, what Syko Stu did was wrong, he's saying, get your receipt. So now there's, okay, the situation is not over. Apology accepted, but it's not over. Now it's time for you to get your receipt. Well, Raja Jackson, for some reason, who knows what happened from now till when he went in the ring, but he clearly did not know what a receipt was, or he just built anger during the whole time, although again, he had accepted the apology. But let's continue here and let's see what happens.
I'll get it that, hey, as long as I get my lick back, I'm straight.
And this is the issue with Raja here. Now he's saying, as long as I get my lick back or get back, whatever, I'm straight. So in other words, when you were face to face with Syko Stu, you were not straight. But you accepted the apology to his face, and now you're saying behind his back that you're only once you get your get back, then you'll be fine. So this is where I say it's cowardly, because he didn't say it to his face, but internally he hid his actual intentions. Very, very cowardly move. If you're going to fight a man, fight him face to face. Sucker punches, etc., behind the back, whatever, all of that is cowardly. And this right here is very cowardly.
Right.
So AJ has somewhat contributed to this because he's saying, hey, you remember what a receipt is? Get in there and give him his receipts. He hasn't really given specifics like, give him a few slaps, give him a few light punches, or just take him down, slam him. No, he's just said he's an effing idiot. Give him his receipts. You know what I mean. Right, so Raja sits down.
And this is another thing, Sean, right? Perfectly said. It's like, give him the receipt. To anybody in the business, in the wrestling business, they know what a receipt is. It's one slap, one punch, something like that. That instead of it being fully fake, you actually give them a real punch, give them a real slap. That makes them feel it, right? It's because it's real. But you don't do it multiple times. You do it 1, 2, whatever, etc., 3 amount of times with control, with understanding that you're not actually trying to hurt the guy. You're just trying to tell him, this is because what you did to me. Right, so there's control, there's limitation on it. Again, anybody in the business would know that. Raja Jackson is not in the business. Who knows what he thinks? Maybe with his friend being in the business, there's history there. He knows what it means, and then in time. He just boils with anger, or maybe he just clearly did not know what it means and thought it means something else from his experience or his understanding of it. So who knows exactly which of the two scenarios it is, but let's keep going.
He's on his phone looking at the chat. Loads of the chat are winding him up. They're getting him amped up, and he's just got some time to sit there with his thoughts. Now, this should really be a little bit of time to cool off for him, but in Raj's mind, he's probably getting more amped up. He knows that that opportunity is going to come for him to get his payback. The chat is winding him up. Never listen to the chat, because all they want to see is chaos, and it'll be the downfall of you as a creator. Listen to what some of the chat are saying.
This got knocked out. I didn't even get knocked out. Why didn't you that guy up? Cause if I would have done something, then they would have kicked me out of this. Then there would be no more stream today. That shit pissed me off, bro. It didn't even hurt. It just pissed me off. I know this is crazy. This is like my third or fourth stream.
So someone tells Rampage Jackson what happens. So Rampage checks out his son's stream.
Okay, so another pause here. So what he's saying is that it didn't hurt, he was just mad about it, etc. He didn't get knocked out. So it clearly seems like he's in control. He's not super angry, but he is annoyed about it still, although he accepted the apology. So it does seem like, from the two scenarios that we were stating originally, it does seem like just in due time, he's going to get more and more angry about the situation, in some reasoning due to the chat, and in some reasoning due to what we're about to see here.
And you can really see the concern in Rampage's face, because he knows that his son is a bit of a loose cannon.
I'm watching this stream. I'm watching my son's stream. Where the oh, he had the pro wrestling thing.
One of the goddamn so he fell.
He had a pro wrestling event. Let me call my son. I looked at his stream.
Sorry.
No, it's too loud.
Right?
Hey,
Yo,
Because when I mentioned
did you get jumped by a bunch of dudes in tights?
you said what?
Did you get jumped by a bunch of dudes in tights?
No,
why didn't you tell me?
no.
You got a problem. Do I need to send my goons over there?
No.
This is crazy. I thought we were family.
So, I looked at your stream because my cat was going crazy, and then I by the time I popped in your stream, you was hugging on a dude in some damn tights.
Man, shut the fuck
Some man, you shut the fuck up. I looked at your stream, nigga, you were hugging on some dude, some booty shorts.
I wasn't hugging on nobody. Fuck out.
I saw you, nigga. I saw you hugging on your coach.
Nigga, sexual fantasy. You need to stop that shit.
No, I don't got no sexual fantasy, nigga. I got some eyeballs. I saw your.
Making shit up.
All right, like you say.
You never know. Y'all keep
All right.
doing me and I'll go right there.
Now y'all got my son mad at me.
And Sean Jones is about to say here, the way they talk to each other is crazy. A son should never, or let me just rephrase that. A child should never talk to his or her parent that way. At all. Not acceptable.
Are y'all happy now? He straight up dissed me.
Right, now, I don't want to critique Rampage and his son's relationship. I don't know the inner workings of it, but I could never imagine my son speaking to me the way Raja did to his dad. And I know it comes from the top down. I'm sure Rampage Jackson speaks to his son in a certain manner, but it just seems like from the few clips I've seen, Raja, he's a little bit disrespectful to his dad. He tells him to shut the up. I don't know. Each to their own, I guess. Right, so Raja is still...
That's why I differ with Sean Jones. No, not each to their own. That's just not acceptable. And the way that Rampage talks to him is also not acceptable. Rampage there was trying to joke around with him, to try to bring down his mood a little bit by joking with him. But actually, it seems like in my, armchair quarterback here with 2020 is always easy to see. It seems like it antagonized Raja. It made Raja seem like he had a pressure, like his dad's watching him as well, get beat up, etc. And added more to the pressure, more to the antagonization of the chat, etc. And added more anger. That's my view of this, just looking back at it. Obviously, it wasn't Rampage's intention, but That's what happened in my eyes. And that's why you can't always be a jokester. There's times to be a jokester and there's times to be serious. Rampage, in my eyes, made a mistake there. He was just trying to be himself again, always joking. But shouldn't have done that. Should have seen that the scenario required more. And that's difficult to really, like, say in due time because you wouldn't think, like, my son's going to take it to this level that he's going to take it to. But nonetheless, unfortunate situation. Something that I'm sure Rampage wishes he had back to change what he said here.
Still sitting there with his eyes glued to his chat, and his chat are just baiting him, calling him all sorts.
I'm gonna fake crash out. All right, bet. You about to see you about to see how fake of a crash out I am. Now I get a chance to get in the ring and do this and do some to him. How many subs to knock him out? That's a good question. I don't know. Fucking can.
Gets a spot.
Watch, my dad can't never call me a bitch. Straight up.
Bingo. See? His chat is antagonizing him. And what did he just say? My dad can never call me a B. So his dad is part of the antagonization at the end of the day. Those jokes that Rampage does are adding up in Raja's mind. They're jokes from Rampage's end, but Raja can't take them, doesn't actually take them as jokes. He takes them as a sense of pressure, sense of antagonization from his dad, instead of actual full-on jokes like Rampage truly intends. Rampage for sure intends these as jokes. I don't think there's any question about that. But Raja is not Rampage. Rampage did not fully see that coming. He thought his son would be able to take jokes like he does, but he can't. He can't just shrug them off. Rampage doesn't take any of those jokes internally from his friends, etc. But that's the thing here. That's the crux of the situation, is like Rampage and Raja's relationship. There's an issue with that as well. And that is that it's a father-son, but they're treating each other like friends. That's not what you're supposed to do. And this is what can happen when you don't take care of the relationships properly, when you don't treat each other in the right manner that you're supposed to treat each other. If Rampage was not a jokester with his son all the time, like a friend, he would have said something a little bit better that maybe could have prevented this, instead of putting that little bit of pressure, extra pressure on him with those jokes. At the same time, Raja would be respectful of his father, and his father would appreciate that, because I can guarantee you Rampage does not feel happy when his son tells him these ugly statements. Guaranteed. Guys, the reality of the situation is Islam has all the answers. It really, really does. It really does. It tells you how to live, it tells you how to treat your parents, how to treat your children, etc. All this whole situation is handled by Islam. It's just the irony of it all. It's like, it's unbelievable. Every step that we've taken, the head kick, you don't do that. Islam wouldn't permit that from the get-go. And then Syko Stu, just a horrible decision. The relationship between Raja and Rampage would have been different in an Islamic point of view. So the speech that Rampage could have given Raja at the time, instead of antagonizing him with the jokes, would be totally different. And you wouldn't get here. You wouldn't get here. But right now, Raja is at a point where he's had his head smashed with a can. He accepted an apology, but it was fake because he didn't actually accept it. He said verbally that he accepts it, but since he accepted it, AJ sort of put that little thought in his mind, like, go get the receipt. What he did was wrong. Although, again, like, it's over with. We all knew what he did was wrong. But he's telling him, go get your receipt. So he like gave him that devil's whisper, so to speak. The devil whispered to AJ, and AJ whispered to Raja, essentially, is what happened here. So Raja then had this idea in his mind, and the chat the devil whispered to the people who are chatting to him to put these comments out there, antagonize him, and that's what they did. And that's where Raja then starts feeling some type of way even more. And then his dad talked to him, and the devil whispered to his dad to talk to him in a certain manner, joke with him in a certain manner that puts pressure on Raja to not look like a bee in front of his dad, to not look like a bee in front of society as he's streaming all of this, etc. And this is what's going on in Raja's mind. It's just a continuous buildup of frustration, anger, etc. All the jokes that they have with between Rampage and Raja adds up as well. Not just exactly what was said, before this call. Everything in general, through all the streaming that they've been doing, it all plays a part. That's my view, and that's why. What did he just say? My dad's not gonna call me a B anymore. It's not just from that one statement. He said anymore. You don't say anymore after one. It's said one time. It's something that's been joked about frequently on the streams. So, again, all of it plays a part. The whole history of their relationship, the jokes that they say to each other, it all plays a part. Every single thing. And then, of course, the antagonization of the chat, like I said. And this is where we end up. Raja on the tip of the iceberg, ready to just throw his life away. And this is like the kid in the movie who was always quiet, who always got bullied, and then one day he snaps, and that's it. There's no getting him back. Right now, Raja has snapped. But we don't see it because he's sitting, he's calm in his demeanor, but internally he is on fire. And here's what's about to happen.
Tell me to fake him. They say I can hit him for real. Exactly. People think this sweet. People think this is a fucking game. Straight up, bro. I'm just really, like I said, guys, I'm really humble at the end of the day.
The devil is fully whispering to him, increasing his thoughts that society sees you as a bee, etc., etc., etc. You gotta prove yourself. All this type of stuff at this moment is in his mind, in his heart, from the shaitan. And again, every single factor plays a role, like I spoke about, and this is where you are. And it's crazy that he thinks that he can actually hit him. You can hit him like one time, two times, etc., but not full force. That's, understand, like, that's the point of a receipt, is you're putting the guy on notice, like, hey, if you're gonna mess with me again, I'm gonna mess with you. I'm gonna get you back. That's how the business goes. Okay. But what Raja does is not what the business says. What Raja does is go full 100% force, nonstop, all day, literally trying to kill a guy who's unconscious. Even before he gets the first punch in, the guy was unconscious. So let's just continue.
Ain't no fighter, but I'm gonna really have to show him, like, you can't just hit a can on my goddamn face. W, if you want to see me, you want to see if I can pick him up. W. It was not a fake can, bro. It was not a fake can. I'm telling you that right now. It didn't hurt, but it wasn't a fake can. That was a real can. Bet.
First off, can we all just acknowledge how funny it is that Raja is talking about how he's legit going to beat this Syko Stu up, whilst in the background you've got a bunch of wrestlers throwing little pitter-patter fake punches. On the left side of the screen, we've got actual pure aggression and violence that is bubbling and festering up. And in the background, we've got a bunch of people play fighting. And I'm not disrespecting wrestling yet. You get me point. Right, so Raja is getting a bit more amped up now. He goes and asks the production team when he can get in the ring.
I don't know when I'm getting in the ring. I can ask. I'm gonna go ask. Let's go ask. Y'all gonna let me know when I'm getting in the ring? Okay.
Right during the next match, I'm gonna sit right behind you. I'm gonna give you a tap so like you know.
All right, good, bet.
So AJ said, when it's time, I'm going to come and tap you on the back. So Raja sits there ringside.
Another point to make here is Raja shouldn't even be in the ring at all, not even for anything, because he's concussed. 100% should not be in the ring at all. He has a concussion. That's on him and his team and whoever, if he has a team, to know this and to not allow him in there, not allow himself in there, etc. His father is a part of that. Shouldn't allow him to be in there. Another thing is, again, look at the cowardliness of this thing. You had the opportunity. If you're this mad about this guy, if you're this mad about not wanting to be a B in front of society, whatever, which is not true, by the way, you had the opportunity to not accept the apology and to fight him right then and there. Instead, you're going to do it in a place where he's not expecting it because you already accepted his apology, and he's also definitely not accepting it secondly because it's in the ring at an event in front of families, children, etc. You're not supposed to have a fight in the middle of the ring, a legit fight. So, very, very cowardly.
AJ comes over, taps him, and says, hey, he's about to come out, get ready to go. So Raja takes all the stuff out of his pockets. If you take a look here, the guy behind Raja is giving him the signal. Look at Raja's nervous energy. You can see his legs going 10 to the dozen. He's tapping, his legs are shaking. Right, and here we go.
And again, just one thing before this continues here. It's cowardly, but again, like Sean says, maybe at the time he gave his, or maybe Sean didn't actually say this. Sean said he only accepted the apology after he was told he could get his get back. Who knows if that's fully true because we weren't able to see that in the video so far. We actually saw him just being told you could get your get back thereafter. They told him he'd be in the ring with him, but they didn't necessarily say you'd get your get back before that. Nonetheless, if there's a possibility that Raja actually accepted the apology and then thereafter he just got amped up more and more, like we talked about all the factors coming into play, and then him wanting to attack him, there's that possibility. If that's the case, that's still on Raja, and that's still a cowardly move because you accepted the apology. You accepted the apology. You cannot do something to somebody that you accepted the apology from. If you're going to do something, you got to tell them, you know what, actually, I don't accept your apology. Let's go, square up, etc. That's how it's done. You can't just sucker punch people. You can't attack people when they're not expecting it and then think you're not a B. That's actually exactly how you make yourself look like a B.
You!
Before we continue, viewer discretion advised. If you don't like violence, don't look at this. Okay, let's continue. Right here, Syko Stu is out. Syko Stu is out because the way this guy just slammed him was to get full impact on his head, not his back. And Syko Stu's head bounced off the canvas, and Syko Stu is out unconscious. Doesn't fully appear like it like right now because the way that he's lying down is very, very exactly what you would expect from a wrestler in that type of position or stand or location. He's gonna be exactly in that position, and when he's on his back with his hands out, etc. So it doesn't look like it, but you're gonna be able to tell right now because once Raja starts swinging on him, there's no movement at all. There's no reaction. So he's already out.
Hey, you gotta stop this shit, man. Hey. Stop this shit, man.
So the microphone cuts out. You can't really hear anything from here onwards. But yeah, he basically got tackled by everyone just to try and control him. Apparently, he got bit a few times. And yeah, they basically kick him out. And then a few of the wrestlers follow Raja outside. And you can even see the shock in the audience. They don't really know what to believe. And that's the problem with this type of wrestling. You don't really know what's true and what isn't, as evident by the slowness of people stepping in to save Syko Stu. They didn't really know if it was a part of the storyline or not, but when someone's getting punched in the face about 40 times, it's obviously not a part of the storyline. So what was happening here is a few of the pro wrestlers were following Raja and they were trying to get him to come back. I don't know if they wanted to try and fight him or if they were just trying to get him to stay for the police to come, because by now the police have been called, but Raja is just trying to get himself out of there. And then this is what Raja says.
Before we see what Raja says, a few things to note here. First of all, the referee should have known what was real and what wasn't. The guy's supposed to know everything at all times. He's supposed to know the scripts. And he did not do anything other than wave off the match or whatever. He should have jumped in there. The other wrestlers should have jumped in there earlier. At least they jumped in. One little, funny part about it, Beck Lover mentions this, is the wrestlers actually had to wrestle for the first time in their life, in real life. So, because obviously fake wrestling, wrestling is fake. The moves that they're doing is all premeditated. They're not actually wrestling. In this case, they actually had to wrestle this guy. And as you saw, it was not a good look for them. No technique there with any wrestling knowledge. All right, let's continue.
Playing with me, bro. One of them bit me. I'm tired of everybody playing with me and shit. Think I'm always playing and shit. Call me and shit. None of bro. At the end of the day, I'm gonna stand up for my self because I'm tired of everybody playing with me, bro. Real.
Come over here unless you want that viral moment. You feel me? Come on, man. We're leaving, man. We're walking.
You see, that's the snapping that I was talking about. He put it into action and now he verbalized it. He's tired of it. That's snapping. That's the words of somebody who's snapping. What is he tired of? People playing with him, people calling him a B, people thinking that he's always playing with him. Where does that come from? It comes from the streams with Rampage, I think. Rampage being a jokester. Again, all the jokes that Rampage throws his way, it's like antagonizing jokes. It's not jokes that don't have any manner behind them. Rampage, if they came his way, I think he'd shrug them off in a much better manner, but I think he'd still have some effect on him. They'd still have some effect on him, although not nearly as much as this guy. But again, you got to look into the context of this whole thing. It's a father-son relationship. A father joking to his son that way is not the same as a friend joking with him that way. Totally different. At the end of the day, people say that jokes, even in jokes, there's some truth to it. There's some impact with it, and that's what you can tell from this. Is Rampage on his end thinks these are fully 100% jokes, no impact, etc. But from Raja, he gets an impact because they're coming from his dad, and as well from the type of jokes that they are. So be careful with what you say. Be careful with who you're saying these things to. Saying something to one person is not the same as saying it to another. Saying something to your father is not the same as saying it to your friend, etc., etc. This is, there's a lot of lessons that can be learned here. A lot of lessons.
Get away, bro. Let's not take this shit. Let's go. Come on, Roger. Let's go. Let's go, Roger. Let's go. Roger, let's go. Roger, I'm telling you, let's go. You listen to me. Listen to me, Roger. You need to listen to me right now, Roger. Let's go.
I don't give a you got some jump and shit.
Let's go.
You ain't gonna do shit to me, bro.
Let's go, Roger.
You can't do shit to me. You can't with me, bro.
Let's go.
You can't with me.
Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, you tough.
So this is where Rampage Jackson and Sneeko find out what happened.
Raja might go to jail. He might get banned off a kick too. That was sad. I hope it was safe. I hope it's safe because sometimes people do hardcore. Some people do hardcore for wrestling.
Right, so Raja's mate rings him. I think it's
This right here, Rampage, you can see the disappointment in his face. At the same time, it's like he's going through the stages of what is it called? Grief, where the first one is disbelief, with him saying, I hope it was just staged, that it's hardcore wrestling. So, very, very sad to see a father see his child do such a thing and be able to see that reaction from the father. You know, because you can tell the disappointment, you can tell the pain in Rampage from that, especially with Rampage just being a continuous jokester. To see him in pain like that is, you know, just means more. Nonetheless, you know, again, look at all the factors that came into play. There's so many things that bubbled into this.
It's Andre, not AJ. I was calling him AJ. Andre or AJ, whatever.
Hello?
Hey, where the hell are you, man? I told you to double leg that motherfucker and start welding him. I just saw the video.
Shit pissed me off though, Andre.
I understand that, but now they can't wake the nigga up. He's in the ring, flatline, bro.
My bad.
You didn't have to do all that shit. I understand y'all had heat. You didn't have to fucking take it there.
I'll call you back later.
Right, now I know the adrenaline is flowing, but the fact that Andre said he's flatlined, he's still flat out, KO'd, cold, we can't get him up, and Raja says, my bad. It just seems like there's no remorse there yet. I know it's still super fresh, but that's just an insane thing to say. Oh, my bad for almost killing you. Right, so Rampage issued a statement pretty much immediately after this event. He said the Syko Stu is awake and stable. Raja was told that he could get his payback in the ring. It was bad judgment. I don't condone my son's actions at all. As a father, I'm deeply concerned with his health and the well-being of Mr. Smith. I'm upset any of this happened, and my main concern is that Mr. Smith will make a speedy recovery. I apologise on his behalf and Kich for the situation. So with regards to the aftermath of the situation, this video surfaced of Rampage.
They hit my son is stupid. So in order for me not to go to jail, I got to talk to his coach. Roger didn't know what was going on. He just thought he was going and talking to those dudes. They my son, they playing with my mother DNA. They playing with my mother DNA. I'm the only that can with my son. Nobody else on this planet that'll with my son. Now, he's safe. He told me he's safe.
Now, as a dad, I understand this reaction. Rampage, of course, is going to defend his son. And just to take Raja's side slightly for one moment, I do believe if Raja would have cracked Syko Stu there and then, after he got hit with the can, I believe that you could make the argument that, look, it was self-defense. I didn't understand it was a part of the storyline.
It's not that I believe you could make the argument. That is the only thing. That is the logical argument. It's not even an argument. Like, that's the reality of the situation, guys. This is where I disagree with Sean. Like, he makes it, at least maybe he's not trying to come out this way, but the way even his facial expressions are, it's like, you could try to say that. It's not, you could try to say that. If Raja cracked him right then and there after getting hit with the can, that is the reality of the situation. It's a guy coming in to an event and he got hit with the can. It's literally self-defense. Like, there's nothing else more than that. He's not a worker. He's not anything. Even if I was a wrestler and some guy, you know, another wrestler did that to me, and this is the first time I see him, that's not work. Oh, I'm not thinking, oh, well, that's work. Like, that's not how you do it. So again, that is the situation.
And he hit me over the head with a can, and my initial reaction was to just hit him back. Like that, you can kind of justify. But the fact that Syko Stu apologised and explained himself a couple times, and then Raja had all that time to wind down, but then he still got in there and did that to Syko Stu, It was premeditated. He could have killed Syko Stu, especially considering that he's a trained MMA fighter. Sometimes all it takes is one punch from someone who's untrained to kill someone, let alone 20 punches from someone like Raja to this Syko Stu, who was obviously a little bit drunk. He was under the influence. And then what makes this situation slightly worse is Syko Stu is a veteran who suffers with PTSD.
I'm an American soldier that suffers from PTSD. In 2009, I had just got out of the military. I joined Knox Pro, because I needed something to help me adjust back into civilian life. A lot of veterans, it's hard for them to readjust into civilian life coming from the life of the military. Being in front of a crowd, it doesn't give me as much anxiety and aggression as I thought it would.
Why did he cut off the clips early? Now, the final clip I've got to show you kind of summarizes this entire situation. Rampage is talking about his kids, and he talks about how he happily saved money for his Japanese kids to go to college, but with Raja, it was bail money he had to put aside.
Rogers.
Just a few things here. In terms of the relationship between Rampage and Raja, and what we just saw with Rampage talking about his kid, nobody, can mess around with his kid. That's totally understandable from a father's point, view. As a kid, again, that adds pressure on you because you can't be exactly what Raja was saying. You can't be a B because your father taught you to not be a B to anybody, and that could put pressure on you to ultimately explode in a situation like this where Raja just went way overboard. Nonetheless, that doesn't excuse you to go overboard. You should know the limitations on anything that you're going to do, even if you're going to lose control and go angry and go whatever. There's always has to be limitations. So it's no excuse not to put any blame on Rampage for that, because that's 100% understandable from a father's point of view. It's on Raja to know Rampage means that with limitations. You can't do whatever you want to people just to show you that you're not a B. You have to do it with limitations. Another thing I wanted to point out is, again, when I said Islamically, this situation would have never happened. Look at what Islam says about anger, because ultimately this is what, right? In order to snap, you have to be snapping because you are angry. Things have built up. You lose control because you are angry. Islam says there's so many hadith about anger, right? A man said to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Advise me." The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, told him, "Do not get angry." The man then repeated his request another time and another time and etc. a few times, and every time the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Do not get angry." This is in Sahih al-Bukhari. This is a hadith showing us the importance of not getting angry, right? The man asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Just advise me." He could have said anything, and what did he respond with? "Do not get angry." That is how important is it to not get angry then? And you can see why. Another one, for example, the Prophet ﷺ said, "The strong man is not the one who can overpower others. The strong man is the one who controls himself when he is angry." Again, another one from Sahih al-Bukhari. And I'll give you one more here. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Anger comes from the shaitan, and the devil was created from fire. Fire is extinguished only with water. So if one of you becomes angry, let him perform ablution," which is wudu. This is in Abi Dawood. So just a few hadith on anger. And of course, another, there's a few others there about anger and how to get rid of it as well. Besides ablution, you can also just say, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim." A nice meme that was created by Beck Lover and Sonny Faz. So, a few things there on anger. Islam tells us how important it is to not get angry. And now, also, one thing we're about to see right here with Rampage, talking about this situation that came to be, essentially.
And his oldest son, whole life, I knew them two wasn't going to college. And my two Japanese kids, I knew they was going to college. So I saved up. College tuition for the 2 Japanese kids and bail money for Roger and his brother. So if you go to jail, I'm just going to bail him out.
So overall, an absolute SHI.
So what did Rampage just say? He just said that for 2 of his kids, he knew they would go to college, so he saved up college money for them. And for 2 of his other kids, he knew they wouldn't go to college, so he saved them bail money because he saw that they were troublemakers. And this is something that I wanted to bring up, is another thing about words and what you say. Now, that's not necessarily a supplication, that's not a dua there, but words matter. Words are impactful, right? If we look at this hadith here, Jabir radiallahu anhu reported, the Messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, do not invoke curses on yourself or on your children or on your possessions, lest you should happen to do it at a moment when the supplications are accepted and your prayer might be granted. Now, he wasn't necessarily making a supplication. He wasn't necessarily making a dua. Was he cursing his kids? Not necessarily in the manner that, in the stereotypical manner we would think about people cursing themselves or their kids or things like that. But at the same time, some people will say that is like a sort of like a curse, like you're saying they're not going to go to college and they are going to go to jail because you're saving up bail money. So you're cursing your kids to go to jail. And what do we know here? A hadith about exactly that. Words matter. Do not invoke curses on yourself or on your children or on your possessions, lest you should happen to do it at a moment when the supplications are accepted and your prayer might be granted. How many times, how many scenarios do people say things and then later on in life they come to eat their words because they come true, and they come true in a manner that they actually didn't want them to come true? It's because they curse themselves, or they curse their children, or they curse their possessions, etc. Words matter. Words heavily matter. So don't say things that you don't want to happen. Don't say things that are negative, because there's nothing but a negative outcome that could come from negative words. Like what was the positive thing in this video here that Rampage just did, where he said he's gonna save bail money for his 2 kids and college money for his other 2 kids? What's positive that can happen from that? If you're thinking, oh, you know what, all 4 go to college, that has no that's not related. That has no relation. I'm saying, what's positive about you saying they're not going to go to college and I'm going to save bail money for them? There's nothing positive about those words. Them going to college is not necessarily, it is a positive thing, but it's not saying that what you said was positive. There's nothing positive about what you said about your 2 children there. So don't say it. And that is the point. If you have negative things to say, just don't say them, because they could come true, and then you're going to realize you sort of put those words out there, and words matter. Words are impactful. And then they came true, and you're going to come to wish you never said them. And that's the reality of the situation. That's what happened here. Again, you want to say whether it was cursed or not, that's up to perspective, but there's just nothing positive from that statement, so you really shouldn't have said it anyways. And that's why things like this happen. That's why you always see people saying something negative, and then later on you see that happen. It's because of this. It's because of this. Words matter. What you're saying could be accepted, although again, it's not necessarily in a supplication. It's not necessarily a dua, but why say it? Why say something negative and put it out there? And that's the bottom line. That's what I wanted to include there. Let's see if there's anything left here.
show. Also, what the hell was that referee doing? He was just watching Syko Stu take 20 punches to the face and going, I'm waving it off. Why isn't he stopping? Could you not tell that that was off script? And then even the other wrestler guy who came in to stop it subtly grabbed Raja's arm without any force or control whatsoever. There was just a lot of incompetent moments in this situation. So apparently Raja is now being arrested. He's being banned off kick. So where does he go from here? All because he couldn't control his ego. So if you can, leave some support on this video. It was a lot of work trying to compile the entire story together. Leave a comment, drop a like, and maybe...
Look, again, from my perspective, there's a lot of factors coming into play. The fact that he is Rampage Jackson's son comes into play. There's a lot of ego and pride in being his son and not letting anybody screw around with you and things like that. There's so many things coming into play. The relationship with his father, the way his father jokes around with him, the chat coming into play, the fact that he was concussed. So many things. But at the end of the day, you are responsible for your actions. That is the reality of the situation. You are responsible for your actions. The only thing that they could say in the case is like he wasn't himself because of the concussion, which I'm sure they will bring up. And to be fair to him, he was not 100% himself because of the concussion. But to what effect, to what percentage was he and was he not himself? What was impaired, what wasn't? Was decision making impaired? Was his ability to control his anger impaired from the concussion? I have no idea. I'm just trying to be as just as possible in looking at the situation and trying to learn from it all, as we all should be learning from every single situation we come across, anything we see, etc. And again, if we were to look at this through an Islamic point of view, it would have been dealt with a long time ago. It wouldn't have come to such an eruption because of all the things that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us about anger, and as well about cursing ourselves, our children, our possessions, etc. And just essentially putting out bad vibes out there. Why would you say something evil, bad? There's nothing good that could come out of it. Just don't say it. Right? And that's like another hadith. That's another act of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As if he had nothing good to say, he wouldn't say it. Right? If his wife cooked, there was a little bit too much salt or whatever, he wouldn't give that comment. If they ask how was it, if it wasn't good, he wouldn't say anything. If he had nothing good to say, he wouldn't say anything. So again, a lot that can be learned from, a lot. And ironically, again, like the name of the channel is Woke with Wudu, anger. How do you get rid of anger with wudu, like the hadith said? And this is what we have seen today, is just an eruption of anger from Raja Jackson. It's very, very unfortunate because this guy's life is probably, somewhat taken a very, very drastic turn for the worst. Instead of being the son of Rampage Jackson that's getting into MMA and putting some fights together and trying to get into the UFC, etc., that may no longer ever be possible. We will see in due time what happens here if he gets arrested. I don't even know if that's fully clear yet, if he has been arrested or not. We'll see if he gets charges pressed against him. We'll see what happens with the case, etc. But inshallah khair for everybody. Justice will be served in this dunya or the akhirah, one way or the other. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope we were able to put the Islamic lens on this a little bit. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.